doing?
I'm Josh. Nice to meet you.
Thanks. Yeah, thanks for taking some time.
Yeah, man.
Take one. Take one. All right, so we're here with Jared from the Dirty Heads.
Yes, sir.
So your last album. So you guys just played here actually a few months ago.
Mm-hmm.
I don't remember exactly when it was, but
Neither do I. We played Norv was one of our favorite spots. It always sells out. The fans are always crazy, and the venue's really cool.
Mm-hmm.
And the guys that run the venue are cool. So
yeah, totally.
Anytime we can get back, we're stoked.
Hell yeah. Is there anything cool different from the last show for this show?
Yeah, definitely. I think on the last run, we had played the same set for probably I think like 2, maybe 3 tours. Mm-hmm. So we knew this time around we needed to switch it up, especially with the Slightly Stupid tour coming up. Mm-hmm. And then we realized that last tour we had numerous groups of people that were following us, like deadheading to like, hey, we saw you 12 times this summer. Like that's what we did this summer is we saved up and we followed you around and we camped and we watched you like a bunch of times, not just 2 or 3 people. Mm. So we realized, holy shit, you saw the same show 12 times, you know? So if it was just one group of people, it'd be like, oh, well, you know, we like this set, this is how it goes, we like to do that. But we realized a lot of people are doing that, and we think that's really cool. So now we're going to try and change it up nightly. Say we'll have 3 or 4 sets of songs, because we really like to find, when we're in rehearsal, a good flow. Mm-hmm. You know, we don't like to leave it up to every night and like, hey, let's put this here and let's switch this, blah, 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 because we think that, you know, to keep a tight show, to keep a good vibe at your show, you have to work it, you know, you have to orchestrate it, bring it up, bring it down, what songs go good together. So now we've found a couple different variations of that, mm-hmm. so that we can play and switch nightly, so that if you are following us around, we're not just playing the same thing, mm-hmm. you know.
That's pretty
cool. And we have enough material now.
Yeah. Have you guys ever had any problems with like forgetting songs that you used to play live?
Oh, yeah, all the time. You know, you just got to go back and rehearsal, or you got to do them at sound check, and you know, yeah, that's always going to happen.
So I think the last time that you guys were here, you were about to go to Europe, maybe?
Yeah. Yeah, we actually left from here to go to Europe.
How was that?
It was cool. It was an experience, man. It's we know where we need to go back and work on, and we know where we're already doing well. Like we went to Paris and Germany, and there was like nobody there. You know, it was like starting over. It was like exactly how it used to be for us here. You know, there's 20, 30 people, and you see some people like singing the songs, and you're like, yes, there's some German dude singing these songs, and then you go up to him, and he's like, hey man, I'm from you know, Michigan or something. I'm stationed out here. I'm a Marine or something. And you're like, oh shit! Like I'm stoked to have you out here, but I thought I was winning over some German fans. And then we got to London, and London was sold out and just absolutely crushing. Mm. So we'll go back to the UK and hit it hard there because we know we have fans, and then we got to go back and keep working on Germany and stuff like that. And it's a bummer. The only thing that is a bummer is it's very gray, and you don't see the sun a lot because we're gonna do the summers here. Right. It's the same time as the summer over there. So we're always gonna do summers here. It's not like you can go to Australia, where it's summer for them, our winter, and get out of the winter. You're going to Europe in the wintertime. Yeah. So it's just gray. You know, it is gray. You don't see the sun. It's cold, and I hate that shit. Yeah, that shit makes me depressed.
I think I saw you guys play in Richmond in like 2012, maybe. Mm-hmm. And it was like a gray, rainy day, but you still killed it, and I was kind of like, this is weird. It's like, it looks really crappy outside, but it's like a cool energy thing going on in here. So I guess if you want to talk about the album, the last album, you guys did a lot of collaborations on that. It was like was it probably over half of it, maybe? A
little less than half. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So what was the thinking behind that?
Oh, just purely we love collabing with people. It's just for us. Like, we're not thinking about it as like, well, we're going to get these dudes on to get their fans, or we're going to make this a single, or we're going to do it. We're just fans of those artists, you know? It's just us being like, yo, Cypress Hill was a huge influence. Let's get Be Real. Mm-hmm. You know, Tech Nine is one of our favorite lyricists out right now. Let's ask Tech Nine. So when they say yes, it's an honor to have them. You're stoked that they even fuck with you. You know? Like Tech Nine fucks with Lil Wayne and Big Sean and 2 Chainz and Eminem and like all these guys. So for him to even fuck with us, that's really cool. It's like we're just being fans, and music is fun. And that's why we started it, and it's really cool to see what other people do to your songs, because we know what we're gonna do. I don't know all the time what Duddy's gonna do. He's still, you know, he'll come on with a verse and be like, oh my god, it's so amazing. But we've been doing it together for so long, you know, that when somebody else comes in, it's really special for us, you know. So it's purely just like because it's cool. Yeah, you know, it's cool for us.
Did you ever get nervous, like, you know, working with somebody that like you grew up listening to, or was it just like?
Yeah, I'm nervous every time. Well, A, what if you don't like what they do and you got to be like, yo, could you rewrite that or whatever? Right. Or B, like what happened with Tech is he just destroyed his verse, and I was just like, fuck, Tech, are you serious? And he's like, what's wrong? I was like, I'm going to have to rewrite my verse now. And he's like, no, I love your verse, man. Your verse has helped mine. And I was like, really? And he's like, yeah. And I was like, shit. He just showed us up, you know?
Damn, that's pretty cool. So for the writing of those songs, how did you guys do the lyric part of it? Was that all you, or did you guys do that together?
Some of them were collaborative, and some of them, on the verses, I would say, everything you hear that I do on my verse, I go and I do it myself. Everything that you hear Duddy do in his verses, he goes and he does it himself. Yo, I need verses, guy, Rome, whoever's producing. It's like, okay, verses, go. I go in that room, Duddy goes in that room, we come back with our verses. But when it comes to hooks, we usually work either together, between me and Duddy, or say me, Duddy, and Rome. Rome wrote a lot with us, or me, Duddy, and Dupes, or me, Duddy, and Niles from Cataracts. So we did My Sweet Summer and Rome. You know, like, it's just, we like to get a team because we think 3 heads is better than 2. You know, 2's better than 1 ball. We like throwing ideas around because one word from one person can snowball an idea into something else. And one melody from one person, doesn't care who it is. It's just having more people on the hooks when that super catchy hook that gets you, you know, there's a reason why it's called a hook. That's why, that's very important to us. So we don't like to leave it up to just one of us. Unless somebody comes in and goes, hey, I have this idea, what do you guys think? And they nail it, good. And then we don't have to worry about it. We don't have to work, you know, because somebody nailed it. But if you don't nail it the first time, if somebody's idea doesn't work, then we go through it. And on this one, we'd usually write a bunch of hooks. But with this album, if the tiny little idea that you had wasn't making everybody freak out, we would just move on. You wouldn't even get a chance, you know. So the quality control was really high, and there was like nothing left on the cutting room floor.
Wow. So was there a song on that album that stuck out? I mean, there were a lot of songs that really stuck out, but to you, like, one that was like really hard to put together, or that you finished it and you were like, wow, that sounds really good?
End of the World was really special to me. That was like a really late night, me and Rome, like, just really getting creative, like lights down low, piano, like really emotional, and this, just painting this really cool story about this old man and the sea and his relationship and him growing up, and like very romantic, and it just painted this whole like movie and book in my head. And then like we were listening to it back, and Rome was crying, and I was like, whoa, man. And he's like, dude, this hits home on some other shit, you know, not about what we wrote about, this hits home. And then I got that a lot to people, like my mom and some other people I'd showed it to. They were like, I don't know what's about that song, but I was bawling by the end of it. And it was just like, there was something special about that song, because everybody kept taking different things from it, you know, and I would tell people what it was about, and they'd be like, oh no, that's not what I, you know, got from it. And I love that, you know, I love when people take their own takes on the song and they get something out of it. So I just think that was a really beautiful song, and it was very fun to like get really artsy and get really creative and tell a story, you know, and say it without saying it. You know, we're like, you know, we're gonna do this love song. That's not been done before. You know, is it going to be a guy and a girl, and you know, like, what hasn't been done before? And we're like, well, what if it's not even a girl? You know, what if it's the essence, the spirit of the ocean that's a woman, that, you know, and that's what he thinks, and he goes and he passes away and dies, and she's infinite and she's going to be around forever, but he's not, because he's a human, you know, he's immortal, and she's immoral pretty much. It was just like this fucking rad story in my mind, you know. I could go on about it. I only want to make a movie about it, but that one to me was just super special, you know.
Is that weird? I think you mentioned like your mom heard it and freaked out. Is that you know, like growing up, is there a time that people were like, music's a weird dream, you'll never make it, and now you're like, look at me now?
Not our parents. Surprisingly, not our parents. Our parents were really cool. Dustin's parents are great. You know, I grew up at their house, going over there every day after school. That's where we did he had the soundproof garage, so I pretty much was at his house as much as I was at mine. My parents were hippies, always playing music, always playing Marley, always playing, folk and just awesome off the wall stuff. So there was always music around. So when I told them, and I was going to go to art school anyway out of high school, so they knew I was going to do something creative. So I don't think it was that big of a shock to them, and they were super supportive. And then obviously Dustin's parents were really supportive. His mom's a singer, his dad was doing plays when he was growing up and things like that. So they were both very creative. And his older brother was in a band, and they had a soundproof garage. So I don't think it was that surprising. I think there might have been a time where my dad was like, "Hey man, this is really hard. If you're gonna do this, it's like 1 in a million to be successful. So you're gonna have to work your ass off." But they were never like, "Don't go get a day job and become a doctor, and I don't believe in you." They were always like, "Yeah," and they're really supportive, letting me, go out on the road and then come home and stay with them if I needed to, or save money on rent and all this crazy stuff. They're always super cool.
So do you think that's better to have really supportive parents than to have really overbearing parents that you rebel against?
100%, because you're just going to do the opposite of what they say. It's just like, that's human nature. That's like, it's like drugs. It's like if you legalized all drugs, there probably wouldn't be as much crime and bullshit, because it's just once you say no, people can't do that, that you say green tea is illegal, motherfuckers are gonna go crazy for green tea. You know what I'm saying? So it's the same thing with parents, and like somebody, you make it illegal, whatever, people are gonna do it even more. So if you say no, don't do music, you need to be a doctor. They're not gonna be a doctor. To do whatever. If your kid wants to fucking open a flower shop, just as long as what they're doing it to the best that they can do it, and it's making them happy, as long as they're just not half-assing it and really going all in. I don't care what my kids do, I really don't, as long as that's what makes them happy, because at the end of the day, I don't want them to waste their life working a job and then be old and gray and be like, fuck, I wasted my life in this office. Well, I was a park ranger and I made $20,000 a year, but I fucking loved my life. Cool, Jimmy. Go for it.
No, that's a really good insight. So when was that time for you that you, like you mentioned, that you almost went to art school? So what was the time you were like, I'm definitely going to do music?
I didn't graduate high school on time, because I didn't believe. I still think government is fucking. Our government's corrupt and blah blah. I could get into all that shit. It's silly, and so I was like, I knew that I'm not interested in government. I'm not getting in government. The things I'm reading and want to know about the government, I'm not going to learn in government class, because you're just giving me bullshit. You're just telling me what the government is telling you to tell me. So I didn't really believe in government, so I didn't go, and I failed, obviously. And you can't graduate high school if you have a failing government class, but I had an honors art class, and I was good in all my other classes and blah blah blah. So then I had to go to the fucking school in summer, and I got my diploma from high school or whatever. But that fucked up my scholarships to these art schools. And even though the art schools were cool about it, they were like, no, just as long as you get it, we'll be fine. We'll give it to you. We understand.
We're artists too.
Yeah, exactly. So they got it, but like in between that time, the band was really taking off, and I was just like, you know what? Fuck this. I want to do this 100%. I'm going all into this. I can always go back to art school, and I can. Like I even said, if we take a year off, and if the next album does really well, and we go on tour for 3 years straight and take over the world, and we want to take a year off, I'll go back to art school. So I could do that. So I knew that was something I could do later, but this music thing, it had to be done. It was just, I thought about it, I dreamed about it, it was in my stomach. Every night I thought about it, and I knew we were going to be successful. It was really weird. I thought about it, I put it in the universe every night before I went to bed, and it didn't feel wrong. It felt right. So I just was like, yeah, let's do it. I knew it was going to work.
So was there anything that